Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today on the channel, we are taking a quick look at some of the new stuff available for Doom Pilgrim, a game from Wacla Treyer. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Please tell me how to... I guess I should ask him. I'm friends with him on Facebook. But how to... I think it's Wacla Treyer. I always want to say Warclaw. But right now on GameCrafter, they have a new small tin version, kind of a mini version of Doom Pilgrim going under a crowd sale right now. And I think that's a really kind of nice entry point to this world of these kinds of weird card-based solo RPG adventure games that are somewhat informed by idle clicking games on PC games and mobile games in a way where you aren't really doing a lot in the game. You're kind of exploring and things are happening to your character. And it's almost like you're kind of hoping for the best, but also creating a cool story as you go and exploring an interesting world. I've done some extensive coverage of Doom Pilgrim before, so I'll post a link to that video. I love this game. It's one of my favorite little solo games, and I love that the designer is continuing to expand it. So there's a lot of stuff out for this game now. Now, some of the stuff we're going to be seeing in this video was provided to me by the designer, and some of the stuff I have purchased. But one of the new things that you can get is a box. And I know this is silly to some people, but I like it when these kinds of smaller games come with a cool storage box that I can hold all of my stuff in. You know, we've taken a look on the channel before at some of those zine style boxes that were released from Philip Reed for Morkborg, and I really like those. Or the new solitary defilement set that Max Moon put out that comes with a storage box. I even talked about this in my my older review for the D100 dungeon mapping game that comes in a box. And I think that it kind of triggers in me a sense of nostalgia for when I was younger. And the TSR RPGs, the starter sets, would come in boxes. And within that box contained an entire world, and you could keep all of your notes and stuff in a box. You could keep your character sheets and the dungeons you have drawn and the little worlds you've created. You contain that in a box, and when you open that box, it's like you're opening a portal into another world. And so that is one of the reasons why I like these kinds of boxes. And I think this box here is pretty cool. And we can keep all of our Doom Pilgrim stuff in this box. So this says that in this coffin, you can store the basic Doom Pilgrim game box and 2 expansion boxes of the same size, your character sheets, notes, and various other add-ons and gaming materials that the unsure future may bring. And I think the designer is going to be expanding this world quite a bit. So in this box here, if we can open this up here, this is available on GameCrafter as well. Right now, I have the printout that the designer made. Kind of, this is said that some personal words on how to play Doom Pilgrim from the author of the game. So these are some notes that Wacla wrote, and kind of explaining his design philosophy and kind of a way to approach the game. And I also have a couple blank character sheets for when I play. And so there is a lot of room for this kind of stuff in the box. We have here our original version. So this is what we have taken a look at on the channel before. The year this came out, it was in my top 10. I think this game is just great. Now, there are some issues with the translation. English is not the designer's first language, so the translation is a little rough. That can be problematic. It can be hard sometimes to decipher what is going on. And I may be coping a little bit, but for me, in a game like this that isn't mechanically heavy, having kind of an odd translation in a very weird way kind of adds to the otherworldly kind of experience of this game. Do I wish it was 100% better? Yes, I do. There are still some issues in some of the newer things, but I think they are getting better at their English translations and at their proofreading, their editing. But just a really, really quick overview of Doom Pilgrim. Doom Pilgrim consists of a ton of huge cards with all kinds of awesome art painted by Waclaw. His art is amazing. You've seen some of his art on some of the introductions to the Dungeon Dive. I've actually bought a piece of his art, the digital rights to some of his art. And it's also a t-shirt that you can get on TeePublic for the Dungeon Dive, and it's an awesome t-shirt. But I think he is one of the most interesting artists working in the tabletop gaming space right now. So you have a whole bunch of art, and then on the reverse side, you have stories. You have little paragraph adventures. So basically what this is a kind of fighting fantasy game book done in cards. And there are even fewer mechanisms involved in this game because you don't really roll dice or anything. You're not overcoming challenges. Just things happen to you and keywords trigger off things. And you have to kind of navigate that space, and you're more concerned about creating an overall narrative of a journey while you are playing. And while a lot of bad stuff is happening to your character, you can lose limbs. You can become afflicted with different types of afflictions. You need to keep track of things. It's a kind of a stat tracking game, but it's not a resource management style game. It's a very unique game, and it does have a lot in common with those kinds of idle clicker games, and those games can be a lot of fun. But in a game of Doom Pilgrim, basically what you're doing is you will take a subset of this deck, or you can play with the whole deck, and you are laying out a couple of cards, and you might have 3 cards here to choose from. You look at the art and you try to kind of interpret it, whether or not you're looking at it literally or figuratively or metaphorically, however you want to interpret the art. You choose one card and you will put the other cards on the bottom of the deck, and then you will have to encounter this card, such as this one here is the Frustrated Gallow Hills Robbers. You'll read through that. You will apply the different changes to your character over time. If you have certain keywords or certain items that you found, then you might be able to trigger other options on the card. It's a super fast-paced game, very easy to learn, super interesting and evocative. The world of Doom Pilgrim is absolutely fascinating. I love this kind of twisted, dark fantasy, kind of fairy tale world that this game exists in. But to this game, now we have a large expansion, and that is Doom Deeper. And this expansion was provided to the channel as a review copy. So this is the Doom Deeper Doom Pilgrim expansion pack. And so this is a folding box, one of the Game Crafter's folding boxes. So you have all of your rules, but you don't need too many of the rules. It's pretty basic. This new deck consists of a whole bunch of new art and a whole bunch of new text on the back. And this large deck is actually, you will separate that out into 3 different subdecks. So we have subdeck 1, and those are separated out by the icon in the upper right. So there's subdeck 2 and subdeck 3. And those are listed here. So we have the Futile Heavens, the Fatal Ends, and the Pagan Echoes. The Futile Heavens, this deck here, this subdeck, makes the game a little bit easier. The Fatal Ends, this subdeck here, makes the game a little harder. And the Pagan Echoes, I can't remember what the Pagan Echoes adds. Pagan Echoes is a thematic expansion adding the flavor of heathenry and paganism into the mix. Concerning difficulty, beneficial cards are mixed with threatening ones. So this is kind of more of a balanced deck. So each of these subdecks, I believe, is 18 cards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes. So, oh man, look at that. God, his art is just, it's so evocative. It just makes me want to dive into this world. I love it so much. He has such a unique style, completely different than anything else. It's almost like some Francis Bacon style art in a way. But you will take this 18 card deck, and then you will mix this subdeck in with the subdeck that you've chosen for Doom Pilgrim, and that will be the deck that you will play through for that game. You could do a massive deck and just mix everything in, but I think that would be kind of a little much. It would make a short kind of adventure game into a super long game, but if you're into that, you can do that. But there are a few new little rules, a few new little keywords that you will have to keep track of, some different conditions and so on. But this is a great expansion because it just adds to the game we already have. And then the designer also sent me 2 little expansions here. Now this is somewhat similar to the new 10 version that's out. However, the 10 version takes that original version of Doomclaw and kind of condenses it down to a smaller version. So if you already own the original Doom Pilgrim, you probably don't need the 10 version unless you just want a smaller, even more portable version of Doom Pilgrim. But there will be some overlap between those two. But on the on GameCrafter, you can also get this little micro pack, and this consists of a number of different, basically 2 kinds of different games here. So we have Doom Pilgrim Micro, which could be considered a sampling of the 10 version. And so this is just a tiny little version of Doom Pilgrim that only consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. So you are playing a little tiny game of Doom Pilgrim that might take you 10 or 15 minutes. Think of this little set, and this little set is, I think it's only like $7 or something. $6.66, I think he set the price at, some cool number like that. But think of these as little kind of coffee break games. And so if you want to just play a quick coffee break game of Doom Pilgrim, you can play through Doom Pilgrim Micro. And then this little set here also comes with this new game called the Freak Cults Dungeon. And this is a little kind of a business card dungeon crawler that he's calling it. So it consists of only these cards. And you will have your rules explanation card. You will have 4 pages of random events. So page 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you will have a character card where you can keep track of your character and their various stats. And you can use coins on the other side to keep track of your 3 stats, body, spirit, and soul. And then the rest of the deck consists of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16 different cultists that will be kind of multi-use cards. They will have the dice symbols that you will need to trigger off some of the things on the events. You will also use dice to trigger the way that the different cultists react to you when you come across them. And then if you defeat them, something you get as a reward. And so the goal of the Freak Cult Dungeon is to work your way through the dungeon and I think defeat 8 of these cultists. So again, it's kind of a little micro game. It's a little coffee break game. But this little pack here is super affordable. Again, it's well under $10, and I think it's pretty cool. And the final thing we'll take a look at today might be the most interesting thing. And yeah, this is pretty cool. And I think I'm going to do a more detailed video on this, doing some gameplay example of kind of creating a world and showing how this little pack of art cards could be really helpful for the solo role player. So this is called Grim Lands Adventure. And what this is a deck of cards, of standard poker-sized cards. You will get some of your rules on the fold-out card box there. So this consists of a whole bunch of Waclaw's art, and let's just take some time here to appreciate his style, his vision, his technique. Oh God, it's just so good. But when you flip this deck over, you will find that everything is blank. Where's the story? What's going on? Well, that's kind of up to you. And this little game here is kind of divided into 2 different activities. And if we take a look at the activities here, we have activity 1 is scouting and reporting, and activity 2 is solving the problem. So this deck here really is a tool to facilitate a world creation with events and NPCs and places. And at the beginning, when you first set down with these cards, you will do some scouting and reporting. And so what that is looking through these cards and finding cards that look interesting to you. Maybe NPCs, maybe locations, maybe some of these cards remind you of events that might be happening or things that you might encounter in a world. And so you will take out the cards that have inspired you for that scouting session, and then you can look at them and then turn them over, and you are meant to write on the back of the card, probably with a thin Sharpie or some other kind of permanent marker, write about what this character is. Now, you could take a system that you're playing right now, such as Morkborg or maybe Vaults of Varn or Troika, some kind of cool system that facilitates this weird kind of solo role-playing or traditional role-playing, and you could apply the stats to your character or to these things, assign trap values or target numbers, write little stories, maybe write some theme text, and kind of create your own bespoke custom deck of random encounter cards based on the art, based on the vibes that you feel while doing your scouting and checking. What I'm going to do is I will do during my scouting phase, I will pick out some cards, and then I'm going to simply draw a number on the back of the card and number the cards, and then write about the cards in a journal. And so that way I can very easily update the stats because I'll have more room on the page and I won't have to worry about ink smearing. So, this will be card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I will just have a corresponding kind of a hex map, a list of hexes, but I'll have a list of cards through the number order applied to whatever gaming system I'm using, and then creating my deck of random events, of random NPCs, of random locations and world things. And then when I'm playing my games, if I need to just draw a random card, I can draw it. I can look at the back and find out the number, and then look in my Morkborg notebook to find out what this card is for in that system, in that game. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think this is a neat idea. It's a tool, but it's also a really cool collection of art because artistic trading cards are really cool. I have a whole bunch of artistic trading cards of Frank Frazetta and Jeffrey Catherine Jones and Michael Whalen and Bernie Wrightson. So artistic trading cards are awesome. And I can even put these in that binder, and when I flip the page, have the numbers show up on the other side. So I'm really excited about the future of the Doom Pilgrim world. I would love to see this developed into a kind of adventure board game. I think that would be great. But I think we're in good hands, and I'm so happy that this is continuing to expand, and there are more and more things for us to explore within the world of Doom Pilgrim. So, all right, you guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this brief video on Doom Pilgrim. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.